So, we all love to save money, right? But we also want to enjoy our lives. No point being the richest person at the graveyard. Fortunately, there are ways you can slowly make meaningful savings without hindering the quality of your life. And these savings are rather easy to implement and take next to no time. I didn't notice the extra time these took, and now my bank account has $3,000 more than it would have otherwise. So let's go over the 15 savings hacks I used in 2025 to save me a bit over $3,000. Savings hack 1: discounts on groceries using a rewards program. In my country, the two major supermarkets, Coles and Woolworths, offer reward programs. Yes, these cost money to sign up to, like Coles Plus or Everyday Extra, but you more than get your money back if you have a big enough grocery shop, like most of us do, especially if you have a kids/a family. I'm a single guy, and even I managed to more than make my money back. But to be fair, as a gym rat, my diet involves some food that is more expensive than instant noodles or rice, the college diet. And well, I actually got this rewards program for free since I work at one of the major supermarkets. But even if I had paid for this, I'd still have net saved money. In 2025, I saved $347.39 using my supermarket rewards program. I know this because I tracked everything I purchased from the supermarket. Well, almost everything. More than halfway through the year, I realized I can figure out how much I save on groceries by buying items on special by tracking the total receipt discount and deducting my rewards discounts. I may go over this document another time, but I would list down the price of any item I purchased, and then at the top, I would deduct what my staff discount/rewards program got me, and that, net, shows me the money that was saved as a result of the rewards program. So, $347.39. Easy savings by simply signing up to the rewards program offered by the supermarkets. If I had to pay for my rewards program, my savings would have been around $260, but that's still $260 extra in your pocket just by signing up to something and paying a small monthly/annual fee. Savings hack 2, feeding off the last one, buying stuff from the grocery store when it's discounted. I suppose this is common sense. If there's something on sale/discounted that you're going to buy anyway, stock up on it. Doing this saved me $521.06 in 2025, and I only properly tracked this more than halfway through the year, so who knows what I really ended up saving. Savings hack 3, cheaper petrol. Each petrol station in my country has its own rewards programs, deals with other companies, etc. The fuel station I usually fuel up at is partnered with the company that provides the electricity in my house, so I get a small discount from them every time I fuel up. And this same petrol provider also lets you use the supermarket rewards program for discounts. So they stack on top of each other. So that amount mentioned in Savings Hack 1 is actually larger due to this rewards program, but it has just been split up into this section here with cheaper fuel. So check out what other fuel stations offer what sort of discounts. You might end up getting cheaper fuel elsewhere. This provider charges more per litre than another station that's near my house, but with these discounts from my energy provider and the supermarket, this works out to be cheaper. Savings hack 4, credit card. How? Do I have some points I get as cashback? The answer is no. The reason my credit card basically gives me money is due to delaying payments. So, money sits in my bank account longer. Bank interest is calculated daily, so the longer money sits in your account, the longer it has to accumulate interest. This works for me as I have a mortgage, and you have what's called an offset account. It kind of works in the same way as repaying your loan faster, but you still have that money sitting there available to access. So instead of me paying for a bill on the 2nd of October by using my credit card, I don't actually pay for the bill until like the 18th of November when my credit card balance is due. So that whole month and a half that the money is sitting in my bank account, it's reducing the interest on my mortgage. Because of this, I saved $83 in interest on my home loan over the 2025 year. Doesn't sound like much, but combine this with other savings and suddenly you have a few extra $1,000. Also, no, my credit card does not have a fee. I have no points, no rewards, no bonus for hitting a spending limit. I simply use it to delay payments. As long as I pay it off on time, I'll profit from owning this. And I always pay it off on time. The due date never slips me by. Savings hack 5, cheaper gift cards that can then be used for buying other stuff. I saved $200.40 in 2025 using this hack. What you can do is buy cheaper gift cards that can be used on petrol or groceries, which is what I did. So my previous grocery/fuel amounts for the year were even lower than what I'd mentioned. It's just some of those savings were split into this gift card area. I made a video a while back showing you how to get cheaper gift cards for groceries. However, I tried using that technique earlier this year, and that website I showed in that video doesn't actually work anymore. Their new website doesn't even offer this perk, like the discounted gift cards for groceries, which is stupid. But fortunately, you can still find cheaper gift cards, but they're on the rewards program app, the same one I mentioned in Savings Step 1. Now, they don't always have them available. They'll randomly go on sale, so you need to snag them up when you can. The discounts I get on this app are 3%. The old method I had saved 4%, so now I lose that extra 1% now. If you cut my discounts on groceries from last year from 4% to 3%, I ended up saving like $30 less, I think. It's a bit annoying, but what are you going to do? Savings hack 6, delaying student debt repayments. Now this functions in the same way as the mortgage offset / credit card hack. That being money sitting in your account for longer. On your tax profile or whatever here in Australia, you can select an option that says, I have student debt, or I don't have student debt, HEX / help debt, whatever, it's the same thing. Now, if you tick yes to this, the payroll system at your workplace will take away extra taxes to account for this student debt. It's important to note that it doesn't actually pay off your student debt. It's like taking extra taxes in anticipation of paying off your debt when you do your tax return. I had mentioned this in my student debt video, and I mentioned how you end up financially better off with this strategy. Like if you say, no, I don't have a student debt in the system, payroll doesn't take extra tax from you, and you pay off that extra student debt yourself, instead of the government using the extra tax they withheld from you and putting that towards your total tax debt. The reason is that indexation, or interest, is applied from the 1st of June. Your tax return is effectively locked in based on your position as at the 30th of June. So the interest on your student debt goes up first, and then they apply your extra tax payments later. In an extreme example, if your student debt balance was $200,000 and the interest was 10%, and you had an extra $10,000 withheld from your taxes during the year to account for this student debt, instead of your student debt being cut to $190,000 and then the 10% interest was applied, meaning your student debt balance would be $209,000, instead what happens is your student debt balance of $200,000 goes up 10%, so up to $220,000, and then your $10,000 in extra tax withheld gets put towards your student debt. That means your new debt is $210,000. You're $1,000 worse off due to the timing of this. So what you should do instead is tell the payroll system at work and your tax system, no, I do not have a student debt. Instead, bank that extra money that would have otherwise been taxed, and then before the 1st of June, use all that money to pay down your student debt. That way you will end up saving money on the interest on your student debt, since you're paying the amount down before interest gets applied. And this also isn't to mention the money sitting in your account for longer in your bank. That helps you reduce the interest on your mortgage, if you have one. So not declaring that I have student debt on my payroll records saved me $170.17 due to the lesser interest I'll pay and the money reducing my loan interest by sitting in an offset account for longer. And no, this isn't illegal / you won't get in trouble for this. I read the legal mumbo jumbo, and you can only really get in trouble for lying to the Commissioner of Taxation. The system on your tax portal is not the said commissioner, or something like that. I don't know, do your own homework on this, but from what I have read, this is fine. And well, I haven't had my ass busted for this, so must be fine. And that also implies the tax office is looking for this stuff, which it's not. As long as you actually pay your tax debts, you won't raise any flags. So make sure you actually keep the money, don't spend it. Savings hack 7, buying discounted protein in bulk. I suppose this comes under savings hack 2, but what I'll do is I'll buy all of my protein for the year during like a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or Boxing Day sale. I legit have a year's worth of supply in my cupboard at the moment, and it also means you only pay for one lot of shipping, not multiple, so bulk buy protein powders when they're on sale. Savings hack 8, using referral codes. I saved $290 using codes from people who are affiliated with companies that I buy stuff from. I save this money on my CBD products that I use to help me sleep. Savings hack 9, switching private health insurance providers. When I switched from my old health insurance provider to my new one, they kept sending emails letting me know there'd be like 10 free weeks if I came back or whatever. Well, I switched back to the old provider, and this will save me $102.12 during the year. Now I'm just waiting for my other health insurance provider to come back to me with a cheaper deal. Savings hack 10, deals on eBay. One of my income streams that I've gotten up and running is buying and flipping items on eBay. There's a few specific nostalgic Pokemon related games/gaming items that I know have some good demand for the future, so I've hoarded some of them, as well as buying cheaper deals such as buying the game cartridge for one Pokemon game, and then buying the case and manual from someone else, then turning around and selling that as a combo for like a $40 to $50 profit. Doesn't seem like much, but again, it all adds up. And it's pretty simple effort considering I just browse eBay sometimes whilst I'm on my bed/on lunch/on the toilet. So what I've done a few times is if something has been listed for a while, I'll send a reduced offer to someone and say, hey, if you accept this right now, I'll buy this straight away. They've always seemed to take my offer since they just want to get rid of it, and I don't lowball too badly. I don't offer like 50% off or anything, so I could make more by lowballing more, I guess. But even at the offer I give, we both still get a good deal. So not only am I saving money by doing these eBay offers, but I'll then be making more in the future too. Savings hack 11, using free trials. For Adobe Podcast, for instance, I'll legit just make new emails each month to use their free trials. Although I think they're onto me now. As in the most recent month, they've blocked me. I think it's because they detect the same card being used for multiple free trials. But even then, I realized I don't need free trials, lol. And even then, I forgot to actually include those in this calculation. If you want to include the free trials too, I've saved $11.99 for 11 months of the year. One of the months is I forgot to switch to the right Adobe account, and they charged me since my free trial had expired for that account. But anyway, I saved $95 on this. I buy cheap AF Sims for my phones, and one such offer gave me $95 off. All I had to do was cancel the free trial on time, which I did. Took less than 5 minutes of effort. 5 minutes to save $95, that's a pretty good return on investment. Savings hack 13, negotiating bank fees. Now this relates to my mortgage account. Usually there's a $15 monthly fee, $180 a year. But with my bank, I sort of hinted at the possibility of going to another bank if they didn't waive the fee. And I only knew waiving the fee was an option because they had told me. And they had only told me since the business I work for has some involvement with the bank. So that worked in my favor, I guess, but this is another way you can save money. If your bank charges you fees, either negotiate them away or just switch banks. Savings hack 14, switching car insurance. My car insurance was like $400 for the year. Most other insurers were like $510 or something. I don't know exactly how much I saved by using my current one since it's the same one from last year, but I do know that they are by far the cheapest on the market. Shop around to save money on insurance. And savings hack 15, well, this one actually cost me, but it's dilly-dallying. So I lost a discount of $36 by putting off something I was going to buy. I was going to get it, but I'm like, yeah, I'll get it later. I'm busy right now. Which makes no sense since I'm always busy. But I think I must have been especially busy that time. But since I waited, the price stopped being discounted as low. And I lost $36 of discounts due to delaying stuff. Sometimes delaying can work in your favor as the price goes lower, but in this case, it just screwed me over. And last one, not on my sheet or the title, but Savings Hack 16, switching gym memberships or paying for an annual membership over a weekly/monthly one, as there's often discounts for a yearly subscription versus a monthly one. I went to 3 different gyms in 2025, saved like $700 a year from switching from gym 1 to gym 2 since I moved, so now I needed a new gym, but my third gym was like $550 or something more expensive. However, the new gym is way nicer, and more importantly, it's a franchise gym that has locations that are both close to my home and my work, so the convenience is well worth the money. It legit takes me 2 minutes to get to the gym. It used to take me 30 minutes back in the day, and even 50 minutes back when I was in early uni. The convenience of having my gym so close to home and my work is well worth the extra money. It makes it so much easier to fit the aesthetic stat in my daily routine. Yeah, it's cost me like 6 or 7 wagey shifts of money, but being able to sneak in a session easily is a good trade-off. I can easily sneak in a session during lunch o'clock at work, or even before I start work, and I don't need to bring my stuff with me. I can just wear my gym clothes, duck down to the gym, come back home and shower and everything. Such an underrated quality of life trait. And even then, that extra gym membership cost has been paid for due to me saving money in other areas. My gift card hack and using the supermarket rewards hacks have saved me the money required to pay for this specific gym membership. This is why you save money where you can, so you can spend it in other areas that increase your quality of life. I have an extra $3,000 in my account due to these simple hacks. Imagine repeating savings like this for the next 5 years. $15,000. You haven't worked your way into a holiday, you've saved your way into a holiday. Or if you're like me, you have some big financial goals to hit, and this extra $15,000 in savings, coupled with the extra income from my other income streams, on top of my main career job, on top of my investment and tax strategies, all combined together so I can hit financial freedom substantially earlier and lower the overall stress in my life, as I won't really need to worry about money after the age of 35. Thanks for watching. That is all.